today we'll be doing pure JavaScript and other items to do with the document object model. I know we have already covered a few things here and there, but before I handle other things, uh-huh. So maybe I can take a few questions. I can take a few questions before the class officially starts. I can take a few questions before the class officially starts. So we are doing week 6, but if time allows us, I don't think we're going to do week 6 entirely, because before we jump to week 6, we really need to grind into JavaScript document object model. We get to understand it really, really well. The recording is going to be uploaded by end of day. Actually, it is ready. It's a 2 hours, 23, close to 24 minutes recording. It was really intense in the morning, but I'm going to not to delve deeper into a lot. I want us to be done by at least 4 p.m. Let me upload for... Let me upload the recording for the morning session right now. Questions? Basically, the session that I'm going to cover right now is just similar to the one in the morning. So if you're there in the morning, I guess the answers was already clear. I'll work on that. I was not prior informed on the peer group assignment, so the recording has been uploaded. Week 6, go to week 6. My intent in the morning was, if I had enough time, I would have covered what do you call? I would have covered a lot of content regarding event handling, but it was all about document object model, the nitty-gritties of that, because without that, I don't think we'll able to say that we know JavaScript. So I don't know. I don't know if we should be covering the same session as in the morning, or you rely on the recording that is there from the morning session, because I don't want to be repetitive. I might share information that it's similar from the morning, wasting time. And my plan was, this was my plan for those who are just joining us. We rely on the recording from the morning session. Then the afternoon session to be all about consultation. Then we are able to save time. This is what I was thinking, and I don't know if it is viable to you. The morning, afternoon, and the evening session, they are the same. We record and overload our servers with the Zoom recordings and everything. Where I was telling the morning class that when I cover the evening class, most of the time you find that I cover a lot in a short time as compared to the morning session. Because the morning session, I'm trying to align my workflow depending on your feedback. So you find that I drag almost even 2.5 hours, like the one in the morning, it was going to almost 2.5 hours. But the evening session, I can do it in 2 hours, but cover a lot. So I might find myself covering extra than the one that was there in the morning. So giving you a task to come and search all of these long hours videos to find which one is the right one. So instead of that, let everybody share one session recording, which is equal to everybody, for those who are in class, for those who are not in class. Then offer this other afternoon and the evening session as consultation hours. Like I'm just there to answer question. I'm just there to answer question and do this and this. Within the consultation, what I normally do is I usually share insights. I usually share insights, give advices, because I'm coming from a background of software engineering. I myself am a software engineer by profession. Apart from just training you to become software engineers, I'm a software engineer by profession for the past 4 years now. So this consultation session, I'm able to share more that is outside the class scope. And by that, you're able to benefit, you're able to ask questions, I'm able to reply. The Wednesday session is meant for the catch-up purely, just like the last week. I believe if you are there last week for the catch-up, I'm 100% sure or even 90% sure that you enjoyed the class, if I'm not wrong. You can confirm if I'm lying or what, but if you are there, or you can go and check the recording on week 5, you can find that there. So I'm able to maximize my effort. You see, for the morning session, I didn't cover event handling because of some reasons. If I was given an extra hour, trust me, I would have gone to event handling to the deepest. You see, that is what I can do. Yeah, that I know. I know it is hard for people to do 3 hours, 3 sessions a day. It is very hard for people to do 3 sessions a day. That's why I'm trying to, you see, your user experience. I need to know, and I know you guys are really tired. The most part that we need from you is attempting the recordings, attempting the assignments on the LMS for you to maximize your efforts. Because at the end of the day, I myself, I'm paid to do that. I can do 3 or even 4 repeated sessions a day. I don't have any problem. My fear is only I'm able to share different kinds of information in different sessions. Therefore, it is going to be a bothersome for you to view all of this recording to find which one is the right one. So allow me to offer this session as a consultation session. If you want to do the morning session, the recording has been uploaded successfully. You are unable to download the recording. Let me see. Go to week 6. Let's go to week 6. The recording, I think it has been uploaded. Somebody confirm if you are able to see that recording. Let me just confirm if it is working. I did the same for the previous cohort, and trust me, they really enjoyed it, and it maximized everything. So please, I think the recording is working. Yeah, it is working. It is at 2 hours 23, so it was an intense session. So, yeah, it is working. So this means since most of us were not there in the morning, we might as well leave the class right now and go and view the morning. Yeah, you can as well do that. Or if you have any question, please just ask. I'm here for any question pertaining this scholarship, especially in web development. If you want me to teach, I can teach. No problem. This is what I'm paid to do. I can teach the same session that I did in the morning. I can do that. Or I can be here, listen to you, offer advices, offer insights, and everything to do with that. Go to week 6. Let me put a poll here so that you can be able to hear everybody. I'm putting a poll. Okay, there's a poll there. Let us fill that poll really quick. At the end of the day, I'm paid to teach, so doesn't matter. But the recording has been uploaded. I'll train regardless. I just need to see how you feel so that I can talk to my superiors, to my bosses, so that I can be able to inform them of the way forward. At the end of the day, I know how to maximize the class. I know how to make you guys feel that your time is used well. You see, people from the morning class are still here. We have so many people from the morning class right now. Only a few, you are going to find a few from the afternoon, a few in the evening. But our majority, they usually cover 3 classes. The problem is not even that. I have not said that I'm not going to not to train. I just need your feedback so that I can have something to show my bosses on what is supposed to do to happen. Remember, this is my work. To train, that is my work. But please, on Wednesday, let us come in. It is going to be a catch-up class, but this catch-up class is going to be an actual class for event handling. We have not done with event handling. Even today, even right now, we are not going to do event handling because in the morning I didn't do the event handling. I don't want to jump there. But the session is not going to be very long. I'm going to start from loops, JavaScript loops. As I understood that people didn't understand that part really well from JavaScript basics and entirely what it entails. So I'm going to start from loops and run down all the way to document object model. The time is going to be communicated via the usual channels, Telegram, just like last time. The time might vary, but this time you are going to communicate it earlier. We have only 65% who have just filled the poll. I'm waiting. I'm giving it up to 5 minutes, then I'm going to close the poll. Up to 5 minutes, then I'm going to close the poll. I believe I'm audible enough. You can just increase your voice, your speaker. The last catch-up was recorded. Things to do with the group assignments, please. Please, please, please. I was not aware earlier on. So I'm going to sit down and work on the form. Remember, I've not been training you on web development, so Eddie was the one training you, not to blame him or to shift blame on anybody, but yeah, I'm going to ask to consult on what was supposed to happen. Less than 1 minute remaining. Less than 1 minute remaining. Less than 20 seconds. This poll is just merely a formality, but I'm going to sit down and consult and see the way forward because um, we really need to maximize, to spend a lot of time practicing. You see, I can even teach right now, but maximizing your time on practicing, that is what matters. Let me close the poll now in under 1 minute. Oh, and like I said, before I close the poll, while I'm training you, I'll be closing the chat, closing the Q&A so that I can focus on training. Then I'm going to be opening them frequently from time to time to give room for feedback. So if I do so, please understand. Just like in a normal class setup. Anyway, I have my results. I'm going to share this with my people, but we are going to discuss more. Information will be relayed later on. So, let me start the lesson, close that one. We are starting on the loops. We go down slowly by slowly till we get it done. Okay, let me see the one that I taught in the morning. Right. Thumbs up if my screen is very much audible and the mouse or the cursor is moving well. So even if you raise your hand, I'm not going to pick you now. I'm going to open a forum for that later on. So we focus on the class and deliver the content for now. Now, we have understood that we have done loops a lot. Let me see if I can close that. instances that I've opened. That is this. Close that instance. Now, we have covered a lot, and what you really need to understand is that JavaScript is the anchor for web development, and it is going to be a building block for your life as a web developer. If you want to build web applications, you are going to do so via JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript, you're going to understand that JavaScript, when you get to learn it more and more, you're going to understand that, yeah, it is loosely type programming language. It is not that strict. So we have a superset for that, which is TypeScript, which is very powerful, it's very strict, but it is originating from JavaScript. So document object model, before we even do that, this is something that when you understand it really well, it is going to help you. Remember, DOM is also being used in React, except in React, we call that virtual document object model. Without it, JavaScript is going to just be nothing, like not powerful as it seems. Now, for today's class, I'm going to start from loops because from the catch-up that I did last week, we did catch up, but I didn't do loops. So go and find the recording on the LMS under week 5, the catch-up session. Then you can be able to culminate that with the today's class, starting from loops going onwards. We are doing so, we are left behind because of the holidays that have been affecting our classes on Mondays. So if you are in other classes like Python and database, they are ahead of us. It's not that we are not doing something, but we are trying to make sure that we utilize the smallest opportunity of time that we get. That's why scheduling for the catch-up classes is very much something to go for. Now, loops. I know you guys already understand the content of the LMS, but no, for me, I don't do those. I tend to do mine. I know you guys already covered that, so I prepare mine aside, then I do that. So loops, when we talk about loops, we talk about iterative, like understanding loops is that loops are used to execute a block of codes repeatedly. When you want to do something repeatedly, automating repetitive tasks. We want to automate repetitive tasks. That's when loops come in. So only if certain conditions are met. So you have to meet conditions for the automation to work without even using AI or anything. But this is where we start from. So when talk about loops, let me just spin that up. Loops.js. We talk about loops, we have types of loops. I can describe at least 4 types. I'm going to try and move through all of them quickly so that you can save time for document object model because it is really intense. When we talk about loops, you're talking about something like for loop. We have for off loop, for in loop, for each loop. All of these loops are used. But also we have while loop, we have do while, we have other loops that we can be able to talk about. So allow me to start introducing that by for loop. So for loop. So a for loop, it is the most commonly used loop in JavaScript, the most common. People normally use while, for loop, not even while loop. So it is used for many iterations are needed. Like when you know how many iterations are going to be there, that's when you're supposed to use for loop. So there's a component that you can able to type. So loop component, so for, then you type, I don't want to use these completions. I want it to be plain. So for initialization, you initialize it, and then you put a condition. Those raising up their hands, I'm going to give you a forum for that. Then you can have an increment or a decrement per se. And then now you can have the code that you want to execute. Now let me wrap this up like that. So that's how a syntax for a for loop is being written. You initialize. We are starting from where? There has to be a starting point somewhere. Then a condition that has to be met, then an increment or decrement. Then what is supposed to happen when a condition is met or just the code execution. Now, a good example we can spin up really quick is that for the for loop is just a basic loop. So you can come and say, let x start from 0. Then the condition should be x is supposed to be less than 15. And then you can say, let's have an increment of 1 on each side. Then you can say, let us console log that, let us print that, the results. So you can come and say, so we use backticks. So iteration. Put something that's simple. So you can come and put X just like that. So let us try and run this. So to run it is very simple. Node loop. So we have numbers starting from 0 all the way to 14. Why 14? You're talking about 14 because it is less than 14, but not equals to less than 15, but not equals to 15. So mind that. So you can come and do even less than. And then when you run it again, you have 15 now as compared to here. Simple. That's a loop. You have just written a loop. The conditions are being met. Starting from 0, condition is that x must not be above 15. It can be only below 15 and less than 15 and something like that. Let's go for the next one. So the next one you're going to do is called while loop. You have heard of this one? Don't worry, I'm going to open forum for questions. So while loop. While loop. So you have to know when to use these loops. So this one is used when you don't know exact number of iterations that are supposed to be there. When you don't know, that's why you use the while loop. So you declare a variable outside, global variable, then you can come and say count equal to 0. Then you can say while. So this initialization is out. Have that in mind, not in as the others. So while count is less than 10, what is supposed to happen? So you can come and say, let me print something like, I'm using backticks, not single quotes. Have that in mind. Backticks is just below your escape button, the button just below the escape button. So count. Then you can use that ampersand, you can come and say count. And then now you can have your iteration plus plus. So here we are saying, while count is supposed to be less than 10, we start from 0, then we go. We don't know, we don't know how many iterations are going to be there because this one is global. When you have initialization and the maximum condition you can go for, you know the exact number of iterations you can count. But this one is a wildcard. It's not inside here. That's why you don't know. When you don't know the exact one, because this one can be anything. It can be anything. So let us try that. So then we have 0 to 9. We have 0 to 9 because it's less than 10, not equals to 10. Now, people, let us go to the next one. Remember, I'm just working through this. Now, there's another one called do while. So do while loop. So do while loop, just like while loop, but this one in this case, you are able to run at least one execution before checking the condition. So people say that shoot first, ask questions later. You shoot the first person, then you ask questions later. So this one is going to run the first time, then checks the condition now. Okay, what's the condition? So it is one of the loops that is normally used. So, so don't mind. My voice or my tone is going to be a bit low because I just I had a class from 10 a.m. to almost 1 p.m. So from there, jump to the next meeting, which was about 45 minutes or so. So I've not rested. I've not rested. So my voice is a bit low because, yeah, bit tired. So let us initialize another one. So we can say let us this one be about 10. So we shoot first, then ask questions later. Come and say. So do this first. So console log, run this first. So you can come and say number. Then you can come and print something like that. At some point in class, I'm going to hop off a bit to take a short break for a sip of water, then I'll go back. So for this one, we want to use it a bit different. So we decrement by 1, or in other case, you can say just like that. Something like that. If you want to decrement by 1, if it is 2, this is how we do it. Just do like that. So, but for me, I want 1, or you can just do it like that. Well, let me do 3, or even 2, just 2. Now, if you're there in the morning, there's no need to be in class right now because I'm covering something that new people here are trying to cover. So we should first ask questions later. We perform the first run. Then after performing that, we check, okay, this is the condition that is supposed to be met. So num should be greater than 0. Okay. Then we go for the second one, having in mind the conditions that are there. So let us run this guy. There you go. So here we are running 10. We are starting from 10. Going down 2 bits. So we are saying run it fast. But then when you get here, num is supposed to be greater than 0. So when you minus 2 from this one, you get 8, like that, then 6, then 4, then 2. But when you minus 2 from 2, you get 0. Yet 0 is not supposed to be there. Greater than 0, but not equals to 0. If it was the case, you can just do that. Then when you run, you have 0 now. But in our case, simple. That is a do while. We have just covered 3 types of loops. Let us do another one, which is a tricky one. It's called for off. For off loop. Now, for the for off loop, it is a bit unique. It is a bit unique because it is used to iterate through objects. These objects we're talking about, examples are arrays, strings, etc. Now, these arrays, when you want to go through array, I'm going to give a very good example that all of you are going to relate to. I gave that in the morning. So we come and say const fruits. So this is our basket that we are defining here. This basket is going to have banana. This basket is going to have oranges. This basket is going to have mango. And this basket can have uh, berries. This basket can have something else like apple. Now, that is the basket that I've defined. Now, to use for of, we say, I use a good example in the morning. Lord of Lords, for those who are religious. I'm also a Christian, Form 1. So when you say about Lord of Lords, it is Lord among a group of lords. When you go to a court, you say, my Lord. So you address your honor, my Lord, and so on. So Lord of Lords. The same thing applies here. So among that category, among that list that you have, you pick one. So we know that these are fruits, right? But when you pick one, it's a fruit. That's a fruit. That's a fruit. That's a fruit. That's a fruit. So fruit of fruits. So you're picking fruit of fruits. So you can come and say here, const fruit of fruits, just like that. And then you're not done. This one is supposed to be const. So fruit of fruits, and then you come and print it. Simple. So you can come and print that fruit, that particular fruit. So each and every line is going to, so it's going to run, the first iteration prints the first fruit. Second iteration prints another fruit. So each and every line, that's just like this one, each and every line, first iteration, second, third, and so on. No, it's supposed to comment this one out. Just like that. So then you get banana, orange, and so on. So don't mind about this one. You can even put your name here, like, as long as you just come and use the same name here. As long as you come and use the same name here. But for the purpose of clean code and understandability, this is how we do it. That one is for off loop. Understand when to use it. Somebody is asking, might ask, why are you not closing this one, but it's running? This is JavaScript. JavaScript is going to agree with me. Even if I've not closed my code, it is going to agree with me. It is going to run regardless. So it's a loosely typed language. So this one is all about array. How about a string? I can have my name to print each and every character in my name. So I can come and say, iterate over a certain array, a certain string. So I can come and say, name. So my name is Okware. So I want to print Okware, each and every letter in Okware to print them. So I'm going to use the same method. So for const. So I can come and say letter of name. So I'm going to print the letters of this name. So I'm going to say just console.log, then I can say letter. Just like that. So I'm able to print or query each and every letter iteratively, starting from O, then running another iteration, K, and so on and so forth. Just like that, simple. So far we have covered like 4. We are remaining with, I'm going to cover 1, then the other one I'm going to cover within the next, as I go along. Don't worry. We are not done with loops yet. But I'm almost done with loops so that we can jump on the next wagon. Now, for in, we have another one called for in. So for in loop, this one is a special one. This one is a special one. So comment that one out. So for in, I hope you're noting them down. So basically this one is used to iterate over object properties. A good example of an object is when you are describing a vehicle. So this vehicle, it has a model number, it has a make, it has a painting, it has a car brand. So we are talking about describing this particular vehicle. We have people in the world, right? But we are not the same. So how do we describe ourselves? We describe ourselves by name, by age, by our height, but what we do, things like that. We have so many vehicles. How do we describe Mercedes-Benz that are of different categories like colors, make, and everything? So you have a vehicle as an object, then everything describing this vehicle is a property. So when you talk about for in loop, we are talking about a loop that is there to iterate over object properties. So you want to find out the nitty-gritties about this kind of vehicle. Let's take a good example of a person. So I'm just going to copy certain code base here, just like that. So we have a person. This person is called John. The second name is called Doe. And then age 30, job developer. So that's the name of that person. But how do we do that? How do we do that? So there's something that I talked about. I don't know if I'm going to find it. About data types. Yeah, I talked about data types. So data types. When I was talking about data types, there were two categories of data types. The first category was primitive data types. Let me even pull that out. Primitive data types. So when you talk about primitive data types, you talk everything about strings, number, Boolean, undefined, null, symbol, and so on. But then we have unprimitive or non-primitive data types, or you can say formally reference data types. So reference data types, one of the data type in the reference category was object. So what is an object data type? An object data type, as you can see, a collection of key value pairs. So what is the key? What is a value? So this one here, this first name is a key holding this value. So a variable and holding that one. Variable holding that one. Variable, so on and so forth. So variable and so on. So key, value, key, value, key, value. So this value has to match with the key. This value has to match with the key. You cannot say first name, then 30 appears. No. You cannot say last name, then first name appears. Not possible. So that's why I'm talking about objects. So why am I reminding you of this? I'm reminding you of this because how do you access them? How do you access a key? This is how you access a key. Line 46. This is how you access a key. And this is how you access a value. So it might differ, don't worry, it might differ somehow, but sorry, this is how you access a key. But then we have other ways you can be able to access a property, a value of the same property. Don't want to hallucinate through the training. Now, this is how we do it. Very simple. I need you to take in understanding to that. So you just say, come and say const, just like for off. Then you come and say, let's call this property. So property. Remember this one, you can put any name. So property. So property in. So why am I saying in and not using off? So all of these are contained in one object. All of these are contained in one object. So you are a person. You contain a name, first name, last name, age, job, career, and so on. They are in you. It is what makes you. They are your entailment. So property in a person. Then after doing that, now let me show you something that I want you to really understand. So of course I'm using backticks. So I'm going to say property. So this property is going to print, remember, it is going to print the first part, first name. So right now, this one is going to print first name. Let us see if it is going to work or if you are going to get a name. So it's going to print only the property. So the first iteration, first name, second iteration, last name, and so on. But where do we get the value? Remember, this one should be dynamic. For example, you don't know the first name of the person. You don't know the second name. Let's say you are trying to display data from the database. You know that this entry, the first name, you want to display the first name of that person and the last name of that person going on. You use for in loop. You cannot just use for for loop or for off loop or while or do while. No, you use for in. So how do you come about displaying John where first name is and not do? It is saying first name, then you give it developer. No. How do you come about displaying developer when it's a job? And 30 when it's age. First name, then John. How do you do that? So to achieve that, it is not that something hard. It is not something hard. Somebody's trying to text me. Hold on. Mhm. I'm going to reply to that person later. Sorry for that. Now, coming back here, sorry for that interruption. So property, what you're seeing here, property, you've already seen it has printed something. Remember this one, I can even put my name. Remember, this is just a variable that you can be able to manipulate as long as you come and replace it that way. That way, it is going to run. No doubt about that. It's going to run. It's just about we are trying to use English, proper English to code here. Now, we are trying to say property takes the name of the key. So this one here is going to take the name of the key. That is first name, last name, age, and job only. But then, how do we achieve this one? So this one, remember we have an object called person, right? So we come and say person. We come and say person. Remember this one is supposed to be like that. So person. Then you put square brackets. Then in there you put property. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is going to happen here? This here is going to give the value associated to the key. So we are going to give the value associated with the key. If it is first name, it's going to print first name. So please, if you can memorize this one, just do, because you're going to be reapplying it over and over again. We are doing so because we don't know this. This is supposed to be dynamic. You can have 1,000, a list of 1,000 that you're supposed to list. This is how you do it. So let us see if it is true or we are just talking our own things. So when you come here, that's what you get. That's what you get. That is what you get. So when the first iteration works, it's going to print first name for the property. Then person property is going to print that one. And then the output is going to combine all of them because it's in a console log. Simple. I hope the message is home. Now, let us take a look at something called I want to give you a small assignment. Just go by yourself at your own time. Go and study about break statement, continue statement, all in something called loop control statements. Go and take a look at that. And then you can take a look at looping through arrays. That is using a loop, a normal loop, and using something called for each. I'm not going to cover that for now. Allow me to jump on the next wagon, which is something good. It is called document object model. But before that, a forum. But before that, a forum. Where are the noisemakers? Any question? Open the Q&A as well. Any question? Have you understood? Give me a reaction. So the dollar sign, what it means, how do I put it? Trying to put it in the best way possible. What does this? Okay, I take it as a way to display data in dynamic data. But let me think of a way to bring it to you. So this dollar sign in JavaScript example, or let us just talk about JavaScript, is something called temporal literals. Temporal, or can say template literals. I'm going to bite my tongue because of this. So it is that dollar sign inside that, what you're saying is part of something called template literals in JavaScript. So it's a way of embedding variables or expression inside so that you can have dynamic content delivered. You see? So they have to come with backticks. So backticks are used instead of normal quotes. That is the single quote and the double quote. So instead of the backticks, then you can have that double and so on and so on. So is the slash, yeah, that's how you comment. Create a repo. The repo is already created. As you can see, it is untracked. It's already created. I'm going to push it, then send it. They look for the code. What do you mean? They look for the code. Can you also call literals, string, okay, whatever you call them, as long as you understand them. Somebody saying, I want to say the loop for the, I want to say the for loop code. I'm going to show you that in a bit. Hold on, I read the question. Why are you using const for loop and for in? No, it's not person in person. No, 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 no. You are one person. You cannot have a person inside your person. It is common English. Like your first name is not a person. So it's a property. That's why we call them property. So objects, they have properties. How do you get the print just for last name? You want to get for a particular property. I'm going to show you that. Then somebody saying code is going to be shared, blah, blah, blah. So basic, it's a function. I'm not going to comment on Python. I'm going to confuse a lot of people. What? It's just my terminal. You need Node.js, install Node.js. So somebody is asking, they want to print a particular one. The property variable acts like a scope, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me answer a few things here. Somebody wants to see the for loop. So this is the for loop. Very simple. Very simple, the usual one. So if you want me to print just last name, it is very simple. You just call this one person dot last name. Person dot last name. You are able to print that one. So even you don't need this because it's going to match. Yeah. So you can just come and say, copy that one, comment. So you can come and say, remove this. Then it is going to be very evident. You can print that one, or you can just bring this one back, property, then person dot name dot last name. Shit, it's not going to work. That's not the way that I wanted it to work. We have so many chats coming in. Let me see. Yeah, I'm using Node.js to run the code. I'm going to show you what I'm using Linux first of all, so I'm not using Windows. I'm using Linux. So to run this one, I don't think we need this. I think we can just remove this guy. And then we declare this aside. We just call this one aside. We say property, so we can come and say fonts. I'm just trying to think of a way. Property, uh, last name. Something like that. Yeah, and then I can be able to use this one now. Why is it not working? The way I expect it to work. I don't think we need this. Oh, shit. It's not going to work for a for loop anyway. My head is so full right now. So the property variable takes up the whole object or just, it takes up the whole object. It's a for loop. That's why it is disturbing me, by the way. It's a for loop. I know why. It is disturbing me because it's a for loop. I can just remove the loop and then run it. Yeah, just like that. When you do a loop, it's going to loop through. So just a matter of accessing. How do you access? Anyway, how can I run it on Windows? Go and install Node. Install Node. Install Node.js. Go on the browser, Google about Node.js, install it, set it up, follow how to set it up, follow the documentation, then it's going to be up and running. Oh, yeah. How does it aid a person who wants to do JavaScript? In fact, I've done cybersecurity as a degree back then. So there's something called XML, not XML, no, XSS, XSS, cross-site scripting. So if you can able to write a better code about JavaScript on your browser, you can prevent hackers from breaching on the front-end side. So cross-site scripting. When it comes to form validation, you write the best form validation such that you cannot cheat the process of entering information through a form. So you prevent that. A lot of things I can talk about that, but another day. We go back to the class. So what? Anyway, man, my head is so full. Okay, let us cover document object model. And then I'm going to call this one a session. Now, DOM. So document object model, like I said, this one is a very fundamental. This one is very, very fundamental. Like it is something that you really need to get down to. You really need to understand this so that it doesn't affect you. So DOM. I'm trying to bring out the best analogy to be able to explain this. So as you know, DOM stands for document object model. So take it this way. When a web page loads, the browser turns the HTML into a big JavaScript object. Yeah, let me go back and show you. For example, this one, when I right click and then go view page source, it turns this one to a very big JavaScript object. Here it is, as you can see. It turns the page into a very big JavaScript object. Here it is, all of it. That's a good example. Now, the object is called document object model that we're talking about. So it looks like a tree. Picture a tree. It looks like a tree. So each HTML element, like a header, paragraph, div, section, form, and so on, becomes a node on the tree or becomes a branch or a sub branch. So JavaScript can see, can change, it can add, can remove things on the page by talking to this DOM object. So DOM gives JavaScript the power to manipulate HTML, to manipulate CSS. That is what we talk about when we talk about HTML. So we know that this is HTML, right? Let me just spin up index. So HTML5. So this one is the normal HTML page, like your HTML now. So when JavaScript page loads, it is going to see it differently. So let me bring in something here. So when it loads, it is going to see it like that. Don't mind the CSS. No, no, no. Don't mind about that. Don't mind at all. So when you write to HTML, it looks like this, right? So here I can come and say something like H1. Let me find a tool. I'm trying to find a tool online that can convert HTML to DOM directly so that you can be able to see how. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think I found one. And I copy this and I put it here. It's not working well. I want it. Let me see another one. Ah, perfect. Where was this tool all along? Where was this tool all along? Now, this one explains it much, much better. Now, this is the code that you're seeing here. Let me even put mine. So, this is the code. So, understand it in this way. This one is just a visualizer. This one is just a visualizer. So I can come here and put, let me see. I can come here and modify a lot of things. So what I was saying about DOM is that this thing is so weird. JavaScript is able to translate this into this. So this one is something that JavaScript can be able to manipulate really easy. So in HTML, the root one, you have two things. You have the head and the body. So you have the head right here. Let me even zoom in. You have the head and then you have the body. So in the head, what do you have? You have meta tags. You have meta tags. You have title. You have texts. But in body, you have text, header, and so on. So this is just something that you really need to understand about DOM. So each part becomes something that JavaScript can come and grab and change. So in here, JavaScript is not able to grab. But in here, even if it is you, assume that these are just like fruits. You can come and pluck one, you can pluck, you can play with them. Like they're separated well. They're spread out well for you to be able to play with them. So what are some of the basic actions that DOM offers? So it depends on what you want to do. So if you want to find something, using DOM, so in JavaScript, you use something called query selector or get element by ID or get element by class name. You want to find something. But if it is something, you use ID because it is singular. So you use query selector and get element by ID. I'm going to explain that better. When you want to change a text, there's a way you can be able to change it using text content. If you want to change a style using something like dot style, you want to add a new element, you use create element. You want to remove, you use the remove, and so on and so forth. So it becomes better. It becomes better. Now, allow me to just go by and explain it bit by bit. So where is it? Here it is. So, like I said, accessing DOM elements, there are multiple ways for selecting elements. You start by selecting. So you can select by ID. So how do you select by ID? Example, you just declare something like this. Then you say document dot, you say get element. So get element, we have class by ID, class name, by name, tag name, and so on. We're interested in that. Then here you can come and put the element that you want to select. So how do you do by class? So by class. So by class name, then you come and say, let me just copy this so that there's a place that I want to get so that I can explain the nitty-gritties. So this is how you do by class name. Close that one. By ID, by class name. We also have by tag name. You can do by tag name. So you can come and say by tag name. So by tag name means that you can use HTML tags. Like this one is a paragraph. Or you can do the header as you wish. Then we have the modern way, which is just let me just copy them. We have the modern way, which is query selector and query selector all. So query selectors. So we have the first one, which is query selector. This one's by tag name. Why am I repeating tag name? So this is how we do by query selector, just like an ID, only one. I'm going to explain that in a short while so that you cannot be confused. Then we have another one, which is, forget about the typos. This is just variables. You can mention them as you want. Now, before I even go further, there's something that you have to strike a difference. When you talk about ID and class, I want you guys to understand the difference. And I'm going to do it with a small example. ID and class name. So when you talk about class and ID, you have to strike a difference. So both ID and class are attributes that you put inside HTML tags to label your elements of sorts, but they are used differently. So number one, when it comes to how many elements can use this kind of ID or class, ID only uses one element per ID. So only one element should have that ID. If just like in a normal scenario, you yourself, if you have a national identification card, you're not able to share that ID number. It is yours and own, cannot be repeated. But when we talk about class, so many elements can share the same class name. We have another difference. The other difference is the usual one. When you talk about get element by ID, which is the only one. But when you want to talk about how to select it in JS, you can use this one for class, get element by class name, or you can use this one here. Or you can use this one here if you want to, but you change this one to a class. So the purpose of ID and the purpose of class, what is the purpose? So the purpose of using ID is to identify one specific element. Specificity, mark that word, specificity, like you're specifying is this one, no duplicates. But when you're using class, it is when you group multiple similar elements together. Now, let us do a small example. Let us just do a small example to see how this thing works. So we come here, we come and say H1, then you say ID. Don't worry, I'm going to be explaining things bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. So when you talk about ID, so can come and say main head, then you can say how many questions? Let us see. Oh, I was looking at the charts. I want to show you the difference. Now we are talking about, this is the heading, so I can come here and say something like hello PLP class. Let us try and run this. Is it running? Let us terminate it, then go live again. Yeah, so we have that. So let us put some things here. This is just to take the example, good example there and establish. So we can say dot info. When I say p.info, it brings in the class. So p.info, this is for yes. Then p.info. I'm doing the same thing again. .info. This is another paragraph. Take note of the class name, they are repeated, but for the main is one. Let us see if we can be able to strike a difference. So I'm going to write an internal JavaScript here. Internal JavaScript is when you do it inside. So I'm going to write inside. So I'm going to say, let us start by selecting the ID. So selecting elements. So we are selecting elements by ID. So we can come and say const, we say title equals to document dot get elements by ID. Then we call in our guy, which is main head. Just like that. So let us try and print this one. So const console log title. But this one is not going to work well. Anyway, I can use the expect elements as well. Okay, I know what to do. I know what to do exactly. Yep. Okay, so let me try and run this. Does it work? Wait, what am I doing exactly? Yeah, this one is not going to work. I'm very confused right now. I hope you guys will understand. Let me just do it inside here, the way it was. I think it works better that way. So this is why it is being printed. I can even remove that one so that you can be able to see. It is being printed here in the console log. I can just zoom in. So when you're talking about this, it is going to select only one element because we have only one main head. We cannot duplicate it. Even if you come and put another one here, let me even show you. Let me just duplicate this one. You see, I'm duplicating it like this one, but let us see. JavaScript is a very careless language. You see, it is accepting this. Let me do this one as H2 so that you can see the difference. This is why I don't like JavaScript, careless language. So we are selecting only one element for now. We are selecting only one element. Yeah, JavaScript is a careless language because it is not supposed to allow me. It is not supposed to allow me to run two IDs at the same time that are similar. It cannot, it can never. It's not supposed to. But here it is. It is allowing me. But anyway, my point that I'm trying to explain is, let me do another one. Hey, after this, let me take a sip of water. I'm going to pause the recording. Allow me to take a sip of water. Document dot get element by class name. there's a point that I'm driving at, info. Then you can say something like, let us just also log it, paragraphs. So regardless of this printing one, only H1, it is not entirely careless because it was not able to print H2. So it was not entirely careless. But now it can able to print 2. You see, 1, 2. But now it is working with something called index or indices. So we know it is printing using indices or the first come, first serve, such that line 11 is the first. So I expect index 0 to be this is a paragraph, and then index 1, which is the second one, to be this is another paragraph. So when I come and dig deeper here, where is it? It's not displaying what I want, but anyway. Yeah, here it is. Here is now. It is able to display. So when you go to here, don't mind that we're using this one. It's not complicated. Just a matter of showing you what is happening. So the first index, which is 0, as you can see here, which is the first class, because we have 2 classes. So the first class to appear from top to bottom is the one in line 11. The second one is in line 12. So this one is index 0, this one is 1. So we come and say, can check here, where is it? It has been written, yeah, here it is. This is a paragraph, the first one. But the second one, here it is bringing you, this is another paragraph. Simple, simple and clear. But this one was only able to bring the first part. And even you can see, it cannot repeat. It cannot repeat hello PLP class, that's the first one. It cannot go for the second one, just like the classes. So in summary, ID is for one specific thing, class is for a group of things, like, yeah. Anyway, let me jump on the next part. So the next part is the most interesting part. It is in 2 parts. We have the first part, which is modifying the DOM elements. But so far, let me first of all find feedback from you. Feedback. Have we understood so far? Answer the question. Have you guys understood? Somebody saying no, another person take a cup of water, relax. It's not rocket science. Don't worry, it's going to sink in a few. It's going to sink in a few. It is going to sink in a few. So let me take a sip of water so that we can come and do the next part. Should be back now. Covering DOM, modifying of DOM elements. When we talk about modifying, we talk about a few things. Number 1, being able to change content. Number 2, being able to change attribute. Somebody talked about cybersecurity, right? So when you talk about changing content, this is a security node that we are supposed to take a look. There's something called in HTML. So using in HTML with the user provided content can lead to cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. So we instead use something called text content when dealing with untrusted content. So You are able to change the text content, even change the HTML content, changing attributes, changing or modifying CSS styles, modifying classes. Then after that, we are going to handle creating and removing elements, covering, creating elements, adding elements, removing elements, and then we are going to call it a session. So in about 20, 30 minutes, we are going to get done. So sit back. We are back in session. We are back in session. So I'm going to be taking hands after this class, so allow me to cover the content purely. Now, when we talk about DOM, modifying content, what are we talking about? Like, I want to bring it out in a way that people can be able to understand. Like, we can be able to understand it really well. So let me bring it in a form of a project, like a short project. Let me check my notes. In the meantime, let me take questions. Somebody has been raising up their hand. James. Elena. Is not able to talk. Anyway, let us proceed. Tamara.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, please, I just want to ask about the group assignments, the Google form that will be provided for us to submit it.
I'll repeat it again. Remember, I was not prior informed about the group assignments. AD was the one taking you through. So I'm standing in his place and I was not prior informed. So what I said is that I'm going to work on that if to see where to get that group assignment. If kindly somebody provide a context, if it is specifically for web development or in all the modules.
Yes, sir. We were asked to recreate a portfolio website. It was provided there.
For the hackathon.
No, a new one, sir.
For web development.
Yes, sir, under web development.
Okay, I'm going to recreate. So you have earned yourself a 24 hours deadline. So deadline is going to be tomorrow. If it is for web specifically, definitely I'm going to give you a deadline, a new deadline for tomorrow evening, 11:59 p.m. Eastern African time.
Okay, thank you, sir.
But I'm going to share, in the meantime, I'll process a form so that I can be able to share and capture all those inputs from you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Please. Yeah, where was I? Another question. Let us just handle this question. The last one before we handle the last ones. Okay.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible enough?
Very audible.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. I think this is my first time meeting you because you also said you're new. I think you're not the one taking us before, right? And my question is still on the assignments because it was actually from the group that I learned from the WhatsApp group that I learned that we have a new assignment. I've not confirmed it. I don't know if it's a group assignment or an individual assignment. So I really need like guide and more information about about that particular assignment because I wasn't aware of it. I've actually been trying to meet up with my normal weekly assignment for each module so that I don't get left behind. So I wasn't really aware that we have a group assignments. They've been talking about it in the various WhatsApp group, and I think I asked questions about it during the weekend. So kind of really need guide and clarity on how to go about it so that
So Tamara, are you there? You can guide Angela on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Angela, good afternoon. If
yeah.
you go
Good
to the group,
afternoon.
yes, if you go to the group, if you go to the LMS, then the group section, you'll see
Yeah.
assignments. Yes, you'll see the web development assignment. So the instructions were you have to form a group of 2 to 5, either the group that was assigned to you by PLP themselves, or you meet members in the WhatsApp group, but it must be 2 to 5 members. And
Okay.
yes, the deadline was supposed to be today. A Google form was supposed to be made available for us to submit it. So that's what
Okay.
I'm asking Mr.
Thank you
Dedan
so
right
much.
now.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
You're
I've
welcome.
actually seen it on the LMS, though I honestly do not know when they sent that group assignment because I didn't get a mail in my I didn't get
Okay,
a
it
mail
was
with regards to
no,
it.
no, there wasn't a mail sent. It was last week. It was
Uh
said, yeah, during the session, then we checked it. I
Okay,
didn't see a
okay.
mail.
I wasn't really available during last week's session. I was distracted with work, so I didn't have that luxury to
Okay,
fully
ladies,
participate. Yeah.
allow
And I
me to
know for the
interrupt you.
hackathon, we got a notification in our mail that made it easy for me to follow up. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate. Okay.
You're welcome.
You can meet behind the tent for more discussion kindly. Let us proceed with the class. Anyway, so why are you guys laughing? You're making me look like a bad guy. Anyway, on a lighter note. So, I want to do a simple project whereby I'm going to showcase how to modify text content. And for those who don't know, I'm not new. I'm just one of the instructors, but this is not the model that I'm supposed to lead. I'm supposed to take you through the specialization for man-stack development, full-stack web development, which is coming up during your specialization. And I hope you people choose it because it's going to be it is going to be a while. So I'm going to do a smaller project, which is going to showcase text, content modification, attributes, styles, and classes modification. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to be selecting elements by ID, selecting elements by class, and so on. All right, so I think, yeah. Let me just refresh this one. So we can call this one modifying example, something like that. Don't look for names. Then you can have our style. Remember, we just need to style things, but for now, before we style, let us package first our HTML, then we package our JavaScript, then we can finish everything. So H1. Remember, this is under DOM modification, like using document object model to modify content. That's what we are trying to achieve. And so H1, we can come and say original title. So it is still available here, I presume. Okay, it is not there. Refresh it, yeah, it is there. So original title. This original title can have an ID. This ID can become main title. And then we can have something of like an image. So an image, we can say, let me just recreate this one, bring it here. So there, then you can say PLP logo. We can specify the width. So give it around 500. Give a height of around 250. Let us see. Not yet showing. Anyway, no problem. Oh yeah, it is not there. It is not there. Yeah, there you go. Now we have another thing, which is, so this one has an ID of main image. And then you can have another one like a sort of a paragraph. So this paragraph, you can say .info. And because I want the two of them, so this is how I do it. So multiply by 2, and then I can just hit enter so that I can say paragraph 1. Then I come and say paragraph 2. I'm just trying to pick up random things here. So anchor tag, what's the usual? Then I can say odd link. Old link. This one I can have main link. This is just HTML, pure HTML. There you are. We are going to style them, don't worry. I think that's it for now. Now, let us do a bit of CSS that is not going to be affected for, it's not going to affect our code for now. So we can say, let us do a highlight. Highlight, having a background color of, I like yellow, I don't know why. And then it can have a font. Let us have a font weight which is a bit bold. After that, the inactiveness. Let us declare a certain opacity dot inactive. So opacity, give it a bit like 0.5. That's enough. Then you can say selected. These are just class name that I'm declaring here. So border, let us have a border thickness of 2 pixels. Because it is thick, we want it to be seen, it's going to be solid and of something like blue color. Yeah. I think that one should suffice for now. As you can see, it is not affecting our page, but we're going to use JavaScript to make sure that it affects our HTML content. Now, let us go to the big boy now, which is JavaScript. Now, as you can see, I'm using internal CSS, and I'm using also internal JavaScript. So I'm using the two. Now, for this one, I said that you're starting by selecting elements. So with that, because of time, allow me to be copying from my notes. Now, we are selecting elements. So we have how many IDs? 1, 2, 3. So we have the first one for title, main title. There you are. Take note of that. Get element by ID. For the image, get element by ID, main image. Then for the paragraphs, we have several. So we have two, no worries. So we just use one. Then we have the one for the link. That is selecting elements. Now, we want to do something which is called modifying DOM elements. After selecting them, Now it comes to something called number one. Let us try and do changing content. So for you to change a content, what you have to do is just say title. We just call the variable called title. We say text content. And then what do you want to change? So take note of what you're seeing here. We have original title, right? So whenever I start to put something here, I can come and say updated title text. Then when I go there you are. So when I comment this line, it is going to go back. When I uncomment, it's going to take me back to the future. Now, that one is about modifying that. So I talked about the smaller project that I did before this one, about the difference between classes and ID, and told you that I'll show you how to access classes if we have multiple classes of the same class name. So this is how. So you can come and additionally come and say paragraphs. But because I want to access the first, I want to access on line 24, the one on line 24, this one that I've highlighted. But we have line 24 and 25, they have the same class name. So I want to only affect the one on line 24. How do I do that? I go and start and say, so this is a class. So in terms of indices, like which one comes first? Line 24. So this one is index 0, this one index 1. So this one is the one that comes first. So I can just put here index. So paragraphs, then I put index, like I want to access the first one. Then I use something called in HTML. In HTML. So if I move on this, you can see this is a property in document object model. So element.inHTML, then I want to make it a bit bolder. So I can come and say strong. Then I can come and say paragraph. Paragraph 1 is now bold. Just something simple like that. Then I close strong, just like that. So ladies and gentlemen, when I go back to my code base, let us see it's not affecting. We are not there yet. We are not there yet because I have to append, so don't worry. There's something that I forgot to do here, by the way. That's why it's trying to mess things here. Yeah, I see why. So apparently, I'm supposed to put it inside the HTML context. Yeah, that's the thing now. Sorry about that. So when I go here, this is what you're seeing. I've only affected that one. So I can even decide to affect this one. I can change this one to index 1. And it's going to change to reverse. So as you can see, when I do it without, let us see what is going to happen. Nothing. You see, nothing is going to happen because we have not specified which kind of class are we trying to modify. So we use indices. We use indices when you try to modify the class. Simple as that. Now, let us go back. That one is just about changing the content. Changing the content. So we have two ways. We have text content and we have in HTML when it comes to changing the content. In HTML is not the safest way if you're doing cybersecurity. This is where attacks like cross-site scripting happens because we are using in HTML. It is easier. It is easier to do with that. So take note of that. Like I said, that's the security note for the people doing that cybersecurity. So use text content when dealing with untrusted content. If you're dealing with untrusted content in your code base, use text content, line 37 instead of in HTML and line 38. So let us go to the number 2. As we are still in the DOM modification, trying to modify. So let us change attribute. Changing attributes. So to change the attribute, we are going to target the image. We are going to target the image. And I don't know if it is going to work, but let me upload a new image. Let me see if I can find another image. Yeah, I can use. Let me see. Yeah, I can use this one. So when I'm trying to change the attribute, let me use the image. What I'm trying to do is I want to get hold of the old image that we have, the logo, and then able to change to a new one. That is what I'm trying to achieve here. Or let me do it differently. Let me attach a link. Let me attach. You see, this image doesn't have any link. You see, it doesn't have any link. Let me attach a link such that when you click to this, it's going to take you somewhere. So with that, I think I've just made my mind. So old, can say old, something like old SRC, blah, blah, blah. So you come and say image. So remember the image that we declared here. So image dot get attribute. So we're fetching that attribute. So that attribute is where? So attribute is being contained within the image. So as you can see here, so we have image. So in this IMG, we have several attributes. We have SRC attribute, we have alt attribute, we have width attribute, height attribute. So we are targeting this one here, this particular attribute. So the image URL, this attribute is mandatory. So it's an attribute within the IMG element in HTML. So SRC. So after targeting it, so we are getting the old one. So after targeting it, let us do some settings. So we're going to say image, we set. So after getting, we set. So set attribute, how are we setting it? So SRC, then we try and set it up. So you can put a new one if you want to. So I can change, let me put this link here. I can come and copy this. So I can change this one. Let me do that. So I'm changing from PLP logo to that one. As you can see, it is working just instantly. When I comment that one, we go back to where we were. So 300. So when I comment this one, we have a better image, but it is stretching my head, man. Yeah, much better. So that was me a couple of, I don't know, a year or so ago, or 2 years. Now, so that is the IMG, but we are not done. So it is not clickable. We want to make it clickable. Remember, we are doing that via JavaScript. So let us add something. So link, remember this link that we did here? So I can come and add a link. This one initially doesn't have anything, right? When I click on this, nothing happens. So and when I click on this, something happens. So how do I do that? It's part of changing the attribute. So you set attribute as well. Then you come and target specifically this attribute called href. And then you put what you want to put there. Just like that. Then you close. So when I click on this link, something happens. I can go back. So simple. It is that simple. Now, those are two things. Changing content, changing attribute. How about modifying CSS? CSS itself. Let us take a look at that. So modifying typo. modifying CSS styles. This one is simple. You just say, I want to target which one. I'm targeting the title. So what do I want to target about the title? Let me target the color. So I can come and say title dot style dot color. Then I come and put, I want it to be blue. I know it is black, but I want it blue. There you go. Simple. I can say, let it be red. Can have it red. Let it be orange. I can have it orange the way I want, but let me put it blue. I want to change the font size. I want it to be bigger. So title dot style dot font size. So I want it 123 pixels. There you are. It is bigger. I want the background to be a bit something different. So I can come and say title. Let us have a style background. So when somebody, you can debate with somebody and say, do you know I can style my page using CSS, using JavaScript. I don't need CSS. I just need JavaScript to style my code base. When that person debates you, you can bet on a certain amount of money. Then you're going to go home rich. Yeah, in Kenya, you say you go home with your cabbage. Simple. Something that you can debate on. So background color, I want it to be a bit different. A bit, let's say light gray. Yeah, light gray will do. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I can even do better. I can come and say, I want title to be style, border radius. What is that border radius? Border radius, I want it to be 20 pixels. Then my corners are going to be round. So you see, I'm styling, I'm styling my page using JavaScript. In this argument, I'm going to win, whether you like it or not. Yeah. So that's enough for now. Okay, we can do more. We can come and say, we are not done yet. Yeah, we are not done yet. We can come and say image. Let us style the image. You have not styled the image. Let us have a border of, maybe let's give it 2 pixels. So 2 pixels, make it solid, and make it white. Make it red. And even we can add one more thing, image, style dot, I don't know if it's going to work, shadow. Let me just ignore that for now. But as you can see, I can make this one painted so that you can be able to see. There you go. I can be able to style it. I can even make the corners round. Look, it looks more like a frame that I can put in my house. Anyway, let me go to the next one, number 4. Number 4 is called modifying classes. We have modified CSS styles. Let us look at the last one, which is modifying classes. This is now DOM. It is so enjoyable. Are you people understanding? Give me thumbs up or thumbs down if you are getting the point about document object model, the impact. Now I can see more thumbs up. More thumbs up than before. You see that this is now DOM. This is now DOM. Okay, let us go to the next one really fast. Modifying classes. So you can say, let us target paragraph 1. Remember the CSS that we did here? Let us now make use of that. It should not go to waste. Let us make use of that. So you can come and say paragraphs. So we start with the first paragraph. So the first paragraph, this is how you access it. The first one. Because we have different, you see, we have this one, paragraph 1 and 2. So paragraph 1, you access it with index 0. So you come and say, I want you to go to the class list and check. So class list. is going to check through the class list and we want to add. So we know vividly well that we don't have a class called highlight. We don't have a class called highlight here. We only have info. So how do we add highlight? So this is how we do. You say add, then you come and add highlight. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is going to add this class. You see this highlight, which is having a background of yellow and a font weight of bold. So this paragraph is going to have that highlight class. There you go. This is it. So I'm able to modify class. I'm scanning through and then modifying. Let us take a look at the next one. We can say, okay, this paragraph, we want to remove the class if it is there. We want to remove the class if it is there. So we can come and say, paragraph, we access it by index 1, scan the class list, then remove. So we remove, we can come and say remove. This one is not going to be effective, but just inactive. So inactive, what are we talking about? What we talk about inactive, make it opaque by 0.5. So let us take a look. You make it a bit opaque. Don't know if it is going to be visible a bit. So we make it opaque. Now we can do another one, which is, remember this if it was there. So it doesn't matter if it was there. If it is not, it's not going to affect anything. Now let us try another one, which is still part of that. So we can come and say the link itself. Let us do something about the link. So we scan the class list and say, let us toggle if it is selected. So toggle, there's a method called toggle. So we toggle, it's selected. Then when you go here, as you can see, this is how it is going to look like. You have that thing like it is selected. So let us check if an element has a specific class. Let us check if an element has a specific class. So we can do that. For example, this here, we can check if the link in the class list contains selected, console logger selected, like something like that. But the four major things that I wanted you guys to know is you can modify class, CSS styles, change attributes, change content, both in HTML and text content and so on. Simple. No biggie. Now, people, let me do the next one, which is creating and removing elements, then we can call it a day. We are only going to have like, how many? Just another small project. Another small project that we can rest the case. Unless we have any question. Somebody's been raising their hand here. Cosmos, really quick, if you have any question. Give me like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm going to be done with this now. Cosmos is not talking. Anyway, let us go to the next one. HTML5. Now, we are trying to do something called DOM, create and remove example. Now, in this aspect, we can also have our internal CSS, come and do our HTML. For example, you come and say H1, my shopping list. My shopping list. Remember, we have just done modifying. How about creating out of nowhere? You're creating something out of nowhere. How do you do that? So let us do this. And then I'm going to say div. This div, I'm going to just put it like empty, like new elements are going to be inside here. So let me just leave it blank. I'm going to have an ID here as list container. And then I'm going to have an ID here. I'm almost done, people. Here you can have some page title, just like that. Now, those two only. Let us now do the script. But before the script, let us define a few things here, like body. You can say body. It is running on my side. Let me close my window. I'm back. So body, you can say, let us have this, the normalcy of doing like font family, Arial. It's normally Arial and sans serif, right? Sans serif. It should be sheriff, not serif. Then we can have another one like new. We want a new item. So a class for that. Then when the item comes in, color should be a bit green. Just like that, we're done. So no complications. Now, for the JavaScript, this is the main concern now. So follow me closely. So we are going to say list container. That is what you're trying to achieve here. So list cont, let me just do it like that. So then document dot get element by ID. So the ID in this case is list container. This is now the process of element selection. After that, we want to create a paragraph. So create a paragraph. First of all, is this working or not? So let us dispose, then go live again. Great. So create a paragraph. So how do you do that? So to create a new element, use the create element method. So come and say const intro paragraph, something like that. Then document dot create element, not to create attribute, create element, something like that. Then you can come and say list container. No, not listing. No, why is my mind? We are creating a paragraph. So create a paragraph. Now we can follow through that paragraph and put content into that paragraph. So intro dot text content, and then you can come and say here are some. We remember items. Some items you need to buy. Don't worry, they're not showing here. We are going to do that. It's going to show. There's a way that we append and prepend. Now, for you to make it show, for you to make it available for people to see it, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. So you come and say list container dot append child. So append child, we have append and then prepend. Append comes after, prepend comes before. So append, when you append a list, you put at the farthest end of the existing one. So intro paragraph. So when I'm done like this, a paragraph has been created. Remember, this paragraph doesn't exist here, but then here you go. append child. So that is creating a paragraph. How about create a list? So to create that shopping list, this is how you do it. You just say const shopping list. Then you say document dot create element. We are creating an element, so we are starting by an ordered list. We are starting by an ordered list. Then after an ordered list, we say, let us do a loop. So this loop, this is a for loop that is going to iterate. It's going to populate within an ordered list. An ordered list is a list that uses bullets, not for the gun, bullets. So this unordered list is going to have items that we don't know they are coming from where, but we want them. So we can create a loop. We say, we don't know how many items are going to be contained in this list, right? So let us put it dynamically. So we can come and say, let I be, we start with the first one. You cannot have 0 in your list. You should have the number 1. So then supposed to be I less than or equals to, let's say our list is going to contain 20 items. Then it's going to increment by 1. After that, now let us populate our list. So how is our list going to be populated? So we create a list li from anywhere, out of nowhere. So list item, then we come and say document dot create element. We are creating li list, just like that. So after creating the list, let us populate the list. So how do you populate a dynamic list? So list item dot text content. So to populate a dynamic, use the backticks that I told you. So backticks, then you come and say item, then you put space, then you put something like that, this iterative, so I. So this I is the item that we don't know. So we put it here because it can be item number 1 or number 20. Then we close it that way. So that is going to populate a list of items. Now, after doing that, let us create a class list. Remember what we did here? We said when a new item is added, we put it as green. So we have not done that one. So what you're trying to do here, my friends, is that what you're seeing here, we are trying to populate line 21, which you have not created. Line 21 is empty. Within here, this box is empty. That is what you're trying to do here. So for us to achieve that, we have to go through this length. So let us check and style our list. So list item dot class list. Then we can say this class list, let us add. So check. If it is not there, add it. So what are we adding? So we are adding a class name called new item. We are adding a class name new item. So which means these items are going to be color green. So items 1 to 20 are going to be color green. Now let us now append it. Let us now put it available for people to see it. So shopping list dot append child. Then where are we appending it? You are supposed to know where to append it. You are supposed to know where to appending. What are you appending exactly? So you're appending the list items, this one here. That is what you're appending. Just like this one, we are appending the paragraph. So let us see. Okay, something is not. Oh, yeah. I'm not done. It is still in a loop. It is still in a loop. So we have appended it, right? But we keep adding the list. So what you're doing here, we are appending. So after iteration, we keep adding to that empty. But then after the iteration is done, we're supposed now to bring all of them together. So to bring all of them out to the limelight, this is how we do it. So we come and say append child also. Then we put shopping. Now people, this one is now going to add the list, the container. Line 21 is now going to be filled like that. I can even come and change this color. I can change this color to something, something shouting. Yeah, something like that. I can change the colors as I wish. Yeah. So people, that's how we do it. Simple. Or I can do a lot of things with this. Let me change this background. Background color black. Yeah. Color white. Yeah. So I think it's now much visible. Simple. So this one, how is it applicable in development? You can have to create an e-commerce whereby you're going to use these loops. You create that out of nowhere. So fun. So let us take a look at the second one because we have taken a look at creating elements. This is all about creating elements. Now, how about inserting another paragraph on top? Remember, I've talked about append, but if I want to put a paragraph that starts here, before you say my shopping list, a paragraph that is there, how do we achieve that? So you are not going to use append child, you are going to use prepend. So you can come and say this is number 2. So insert another paragraph at the top. So this one is number 1. You can say this one is creating elements. I'm almost done, by the way. This is the last scroll. So this is the last coding. After this, I do removing elements, then I'm done. So it's not going to be long. So inserting another paragraph on top, just like when you're having plates, you can decide to put this plate at the bottom. That is what we call append. Or you can just put the plates on top of each other. Like you take the last plate and put it on top. That is called prepend. So you should understand these things, basics of data structures and algorithms. Now, so to do that, const, we just say top note, something like that, or top paragraph, but make it shorter. So document dot, we are creating an element first, remember? We are creating an element. This element is a paragraph. After that, we are saying top note dot text. We are putting text to that. Don't forget your bag. Something like, because you're doing shopping, so don't forget your shopping bag. Simple. Of course, it's not there yet, but it's going to come. After that, let us now append it. Let us now prepend it. So for you to prepend, list const, then you say prepend. So if you study prepend really well, you're going to understand that it comes before append. So come and say top note. And there you go. But let me see. Yeah, it is very much okay, by the way. It works. There you go. Okay. So somebody's wondering here, I know. But you said on top, don't worry, it is okay. You know why? In a category of paragraphs, it is going to be the first paragraph, just like plates. In a category of plates, it's going to be the first plate. In a category of cups, it's going to be the first cup. But remember, it is DOM. So it's like a tree. It cannot do two trees at the same time, one at a go. Now, so let us do the third one. Then you can say bye-bye. Then you can meet on Wednesday for event handling. So removing an element. So let's remove the second list item. So you see in this item, list item, the second one, which one? 01. So item number 2. We want to remove item number 2, but in a modern way. So how do we do that? Just an example. So you can say we want to let's the second list item. So to do that, it's very simple, by the way. Const, then it says second item. Then you come and say shopping list. So this is a special way that I want to teach you. Parent-child relationship. So you come and say shopping list that we have here, but I want the child. So for me to do that, I'm going to say dot children. I'm going to say dot children. So returns the child element, dot children. But I want to access the index. So it is the second one is index 1. So this one is going to get the second list, the second LI, the second list. After that, I'm going to say second item dot remove. So after accessing it, we want to remove it. So just do like that, then you close. So this one is the modern way. Alternative way, you can just write shopping list dot remove child. Then you put second item inside. But that one, you're not going to target a specific one. It's going to be an issue. So you see, item 1, item 3, 4, 5. I'm not lying. You have just removed it. Okay, I think I've just come to the end of, let me see in my notes if I have anything left out. Yeah, the next thing is event handling. I'm going to do that later on. So let me open the forum. Talk to me, people. Talk to me, people. Questions, what not. I'm sharing the code as you people ask questions. Let me share the code as you people ask questions. So let us commit. I'm waiting for questions. Commit. Let me commit by signing in. And then just push. It's gone. Can go and take a look at where. So if you go to WhatsApp, go to announcement, you're going to find the repo there. That repo has the latest, updated just now. Let me take out the Redmi from the morning and put it outside here. Questions. Let me see questions. To return back the second item, you just, you just remove that code. If people don't have questions, you are satisfied. Let me share the code on the charts. So go for the afternoon session. You're going to find it there. There is the repo. Any questions? If you have no any question, any comments about the class? Very tired right now. Readme, just type Readme. Like, don't follow my conventional way of pushing code to GitHub. Mine is very weird. For me, I've been using GitHub for a very long time, so I've made my own way of pushing code to GitHub really easy. This is my second GitHub account. I had another one which I had earlier, full of cybersecurity stuff and PHP and Angular, but I wanted to officially start a new one back then. Okay, differentiate between text content and in HTML. So how can I say? Let us just Google it. Let us just Google this one. Don't know. Let us just Google it. We are free to Google. So the main difference is in HTML, property returns full content of the element, including all HTML tags, blah, 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 shorten. I'm not after all of those words. So here is a simple one. Returns or sets the HTML content of an element, including tags useful or for inserting HTML, blah, blah, blah. So, but can pose risk for cross-site scripting if not sanitized. But this one, text content returns or says content, blah, 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 ignoring HTML tags. So if you can ignore HTML tags, you can escape the security mayhem. Thank you, Enoch. I tried opening last week catch up, but no, you can redo again. I think I resolved the link. Let me stop the recording. If you don't have any question, can't wait to specialize here. So see you guys next time. Let me stop the recording for